If anybody wants to say hi to YouTube.
Say hi.
Are we learning a lot?
I am learning a lot.
We're learning, growing, growing together.
Absolutely.
That's what we do.
We have to grow, to be better.
More sparkle. More sparkle makes fireworks.
Absolutely.
If we can see one.
All right, guys, let's get back into some questions. Does anyone else in the audience have a question? If you do, all right, let's go. What's your question?
My question is, first of all, how do you manage your business finances, including cash flow and budget?
Oh, we hate numbers. All right, go for it, Kayla.
So for me, this is something that I struggled a lot with at first, but QuickBooks has been a really good resource for me. So just finding a really good financial person that you trust. I worked with a tax agent maybe like a year ago, the tax together. He never told me anything about my financial business here, savings, all that, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with my money. So making sure that you find a professional, and just do your research, like courses or anything else, that's going to walk you through the process so that you know exactly what's coming in, exactly what's coming out. But as far as inventory and all of that stuff, QuickBooks, Excel, stuff like that is helpful for me. And ChatGPT.
And in the chat.
Yes, with our solopreneurs, we do all the things, we wear all the hats. And for me, I have an international business degree, so I can do numbers. I feel like it's such a drain. I want to put my time and energy into the things I love doing, so outsourcing is really key. So yes, like Kayla said, I have hired a bookkeeper even. It took me a long time to do that because I was just doing all the things. And now that I've outsourced it and they're, categorizing things for me, I save so much time. I was in a mastermind for estheticians, and so they gave me the contact of this company that helps a lot of people in our industry, but they're not local. And so My husband is the type of person, he wants to sit in front of someone and be in their office. So, you know, maybe talk to other ladies here if you want a local person. I can give you my bookkeeper if you want to know them. So that's one thing. I use Square, it's simple for me, and I use QuickBooks. Those are the two programs that I use in my business. And we have an accountant I don't love, so if anybody knows an accountant you love, I'm looking. You know, so, but it's just one of those things, if you don't love doing that, and if you want to spend more time working, you know, in your business doing what you love, I would hire out. Most of the time.
Yeah, I used to tell people this all the time, like the one thing I wish I had to go back in time when I started my business was hire a CPA and not an accountant from the beginning. Cause my accountant was just like, I mean, she was an accountant for like the water company, so it's like, yeah, I mean, like, she should be good, right? But I mean, she didn't even tell me I needed to separate my bank accounts or whatever. And it was like, you know, her daughter was in massage and maybe didn't do well, so she didn't think I was gonna do well, whatever, you know what I mean? So there was a little bit of that. So I definitely, you know, you don't want people who really know your finances like that. I would get somebody who's out. I pay a CPA and I have them on a retainer. They're like $500 a month, but they keep me out of jail. They have a huge team. I can call them 7 days a week and be like, hey, can I get a copy of my aesthetics license? They refile my retail license. They refile it. They do all of that stuff. So to me, to not, because that kind of stuff, I would either mess up and go to jail or make me cry. You know what I mean? Like, the more that if I'm crying, then I can't take care of clients. You know? And I just recently hired an assistant again. You know, obviously I've got some PTSD with past assistants and stuff, and she's phenomenal. And she's really good at, like, if you're hiring an assistant kind of person, I would recommend have them do a disc profiling test, a Myers-Briggs test, and a love language test. So that, you know, like for me, I'm more of an artistic person, you know, I can be out there, I can be the face, but, you know, I want somebody who's gonna compliment me, who's gonna be like paying attention to that detail, and she likes figuring stuff out, and I like it that she likes to do that. I mean, we're in the business of like tipping people, so she's probably like the only assistant, where I'm like, you get a tip today, you get a bonus for not making me cry, here's an extra $100, thank you for handling that, so I didn't have to. So definitely outsourcing. A CPA is not the same thing as an accountant. Even if you just have a CPA, you don't have them on retainer in the beginning, but that they can set up all your stuff, so you're an S corp, so you know they're paying yourself, so you're not messing up at the end of the year. And yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've had different coaches be like, "What's your profit and loss statement?" I'm like, "We're not negative, so I can buy more toys for the spa." Like that's my answer for that. So. Having a CPA is also really good to, you know, for that reason, because they can kind of try to keep you grounded. Try.
Okay, well, I personally hate numbers, the number stuff. As far as my business goes, people like her, I like to stick to the creative side of things. I don't really like to punch numbers, because I feel like it blocks my creative energy. But over the years, I've actually tried a bunch of different ways to like, organize my finances and things like that. A while ago, I had a client who was an accountant, and she told me, I was trying to outsource all those things, and she was like, you need to know your numbers. Stop outsourcing things because you don't want to do them, because then you're not going to look at it, you're just going to let them do it. So, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have like the CPA and accountant things, that you absolutely should have the people that know their things, but you want to take the time to understand the things, or at least find your CPA that will explain things to you. So I just had a CPA that actually just let go, because like when I hired her, I wanted to like sit down monthly and go over these P&L statements, and she wouldn't do that with me. So I was like, well, I could send out a P&L statement when I'm trying to do something, but I can't really tell you what my numbers are. Like, she does send her stuff every month, she sends the paperwork back, and we don't talk about it. And that wasn't working for me, especially for what she's transparency. Yeah, like I need to understand, because like the number stuff is not my area of expertise. So explaining something to me, or like why this looks like this, or like why you categorize this like this, or just for the future, so that I can, when I'm telling somebody something, I actually know what I'm talking about, and I'm just sending over paperwork. But the QuickBooks is a good one. Like you said, ChatGPT, I actually had them like create me a P&L statement sheet, using that. That works really good. I also making sure that your accounts are separated, so you have your business account. And what I did, at one point is I actually got like an account for, so I had like my main account, I had an account for like, products and things like that. I had an account for payroll, and it was just easier for me to like see what was happening. Cause I'm a visual person, like I can open up my account, I can see what's in here. When I get paid at the end of the week, I can divvy everything up, and then it's easier for me to track things. But like I said, I've tried so many different ways. I'm still trying ways, because I still haven't found a way that like really fully works for me. But you're gonna have to try and error, because everybody's different. So definitely get you a CPA at some point. But until you can afford that, because they're a little costly. But until you can afford that, every month, at the end of the month, I go through my business account, I write the stuff out. You can ChatGPT can create your P&L sheet. Just write the things out yourself. It don't have to be perfect, but just so you have an idea of what your numbers look like. So when you do hire a CPA or an accountant, things like that, what they're telling you, you'll know like if they're telling you some BS or if they're telling you something that actually aligns with what you've been doing. You know, you actually know what they're talking about. Because sometimes they talk at you, and you're like, girl, what? I just skincare. I don't do all of this. Like, the state don't get your shoes and get out. The state wants me to do what? What is that? Like, you know, I'm like, it's sending back these big numbers of the, you know, and then they're telling you supposed to be paying this quarterly, and yeah. Try to do your, again, ChatGPT is a lot too. But just those simple P&L sheets and things like that, I would start there. And then have you a separate bank account for your business. I would absolutely start there. So you can at least pull your statement every month. You can see exactly where you're spending.
I'm a disaster at it. I'm bad. I'm lucky enough to where I have a business partner where we can share our responsibilities. So for me, I focus on service, I focus on product, inventory, education with those that I work with. And then she can handle all the business side things. So when it's payroll, you know, turning things in, making sure our licenses are up to date, or, you know, having to file quarterly taxes, whatever that is, she, HR, hiring, she does all of that stuff for me. So that is a blessing for me, because if I tried to do it all, I know that I would not succeed. It's too much. So making sure that you have those people that are, you know, within your business, and you have clear roles on the responsibilities that you guys are keeping. I think it helps. We just got ourselves a person because we're growing fast and we have another location, and trying to be transparent and clean, and, you know, do we keep it separate? Do we put it all in one? Like, how do we handle that? That's beyond my capacity as a business girl, like trying to learn. So I'm learning that process as we go. And then I also have a whole nother separate business that is, it's just my makeup artistry LLC business, that is separate from the salon life, and that handles all my other independent contracts that might be coming in, whether it's production related, bridal related, just depends. If it's outside the salon, then it falls into there too. So trying to keep things very clean and transparent, and, you know, you got state board regulations, and then you have all this, and then you got all that, and it's just good to, you know, have someone do it for you or with you. And that's all I got. I'm bad with girl math.
Yeah, also terrible at math. I have a tiny little, I mean, my practice is just me. I booth rent in the salon that I'm at. I love being there, but I pay my rent and I do my thing. I have zero intention of ever scaling up. I do not want employees ever, because it's too much stress for me. It's just my stuff. So for me, if you get good booking software, they will figure out a lot of things for you. Everything's divided. So when I go to like my month, it will tell me how many services did I do, and how much did you get for services, how much, upsells and tips and retail and taxes on that retail, because how much sales tax you owe on that retail. It will break it all down for you. And I got a spreadsheet, it's called Pretty Profitable, and it's on Google Sheets, so you don't have to have Excel or something else for it. It was really reasonable. And basically you get formatted spreadsheets overview page and then one for each month of the year. I plug in my information from my booking software and my bank statement. It does all the math for me and it graphs it out, it charts it out so that I can just go to the front page and go, okay, well, I can see what I'm making and what's making me the most money, what am I spending the most on? And for me, that's great. At some point, it would be awesome to have a CPA, but also, I don't know that I have the kind of trust, even though I know I'm not great at it. I like having that so I can see what I'm doing and I'm in control of it and at least I understand what my numbers are based on those things. And thus far, it's been okay. But I think because I'm smaller and I intend on staying smaller, that works for me in a way that if you're planning on scaling it like these ladies do, maybe that would not necessarily be your best route. Pretty Profitable is what it's called.
And I don't know if anyone can work on Vagaro, like that's the software that we have, and so she was saying as far as, being able to track things, services, products, taxes, leasing, like all that stuff, it's all there, you just pull reports from it, do payroll, like it's all in one. So those are really great tools to have and they're worth the cost, to help keep you, straight.
Square does it too.
Yeah.
And I think about, I went through so many scheduling systems that literally made me cry more than any human on earth. Between that and meta ads. So, before you get frustrated with one, I've used so many, I've used Vagaro, and the other thing is like Vagaro, I had an incident and they lost like $6,500 worth of deposits like at the end of the year. And I had been there like, you know what I mean? So in any of them, like the customer service is gonna be so-so, you're not gonna find like a Prince Charming with any of them. So definitely, even if you do have a system that is gonna keep track of that, you do have to like keep track of that. I would recommend like, once a week so it doesn't get too like taxing because I've had so many and none of them are perfect and none of them care about you because it's software, so you don't care about your own stuff.
I like to joke around and say we're estheticians, not mathematicians. Oh, wait, did you already say a question? Yeah, okay, yeah. You already went? Yeah. Same question?
Yeah, we did. People were
Oh, okay,
so we moved
all
on.
right, next question, yeah, okay. So the next question, when did you know it was time to go solo and what steps did you take to prepare for that leap?
So for me, I started my business before I even became a licensed esthetician. I spent my last $600 on a flash course as soon as I got out of high school. And so I pretty much had a bit of a clientele base before I even went to esthetician school. So my journey's a little bit different. I didn't really, was already solo. But some advice that I can give to you just from like speaking with some students that I've mentored and other entrepreneur friends that I have is stop getting in your own way. If going solo is something that you want to do, stop waiting for it to be perfect, just start. So that's something that I see a lot is people are just like, well, I need my website to look like this, or I need to do the best with this, but you can't evolve if you don't even have a starting point. So start somewhere, build, grow, those $40 sets will turn into $60 sets, those $60 sets will turn into $200 sets. So just start somewhere and get out of your own head, don't overthink it.
I have worked for other people when I started out, and a big part of that for me was I wanted community. And I wanted to just be in a space where we could share ideas, we could support each other. And I'd like to say that I identify not as a control freak, but as a freedom freak. I like my freedom. So I knew it was time for me to branch off on my own when I realized I just did not want someone else telling me what to do. When they started changing my money, my pay, that's when I was like, okay, I know I can do this on my own. So if you're wanting to do that, I would say you just have to trust yourself. You have to know that this is going to be a wild, beautiful ride that will challenge you, and you're going to get so much growth and freedom. If you're a person who values security over freedom, then I would say stay in the role that you're in, because sometimes people just want to clock in and clock out and leave their stuff at the JOB, and that is completely fine. Especially, let's say you're, a mom and you are, you have young kids and you don't want to be carrying the weight of building a business. You want to go home to your family. Then that might be, the time where you stay at the job. If you want to refine your skills, if you're still building your books, I would say stay at the job. If you want to start branching out, then start reducing your hours at the place you're working at, and start looking at, how you can build or branch out to do your own thing. And I would say, some people, it just depends on your value system and your personality. If you're the type that you can take the leap, you can take the risk, you might just not have the safety net. I'm a type of person that I do like freedom and I can be adventurous, and I also like a little soft place to land. So having a second gig is not a bad thing. I mean, I'm doing it right now. I'm a rep and I also have my business. And it helps me not feel stressed. It actually, both businesses support each other. So I can thrive. Now, does one get more energy than the other? Yeah, absolutely. But I know that in my brick and mortar, I'm not stressing out because I've got support from my other income. And that works for some people. So that's just, based on my personality though. So you have to know yourself and know what works best for you and what you value.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. One way that you can really figure that kind of stuff out about yourself, it goes back to that DISC profiling test, the Myers-Briggs. And you can just look those up free online, or there's other people who can kind of coach you through that. That's gonna tell you, like for me, I'm like high I, high T. So high independence. I started off and I was like, my intention was just to start my own business. I help people create other product lines in like the Ayurveda space and the cannabis space. So that was my intention until I found out, oh, you have to work under another esthetician for 6 months before you can start your own business. Oh, I didn't know that. So another one of my friends had like bought into a spa after her husband died and had no idea what to do with the spa. She literally had HCG, like weight loss barbecue sauce on the shelf, not one skincare product for sale at all. So I was like, look, I'm gonna help you with this. You have 6 months. Like my job is to get you a staff, get you running, and I'm hiring my replacement like as soon as possible. You know what I mean? And she was like negative $25,000 a month. You know what I mean? She just had money to just keep blowing into it because, she started off wealthy. And we got her to net positive $20,000 to $30,000 a month with a great manager and all of that kind of stuff. And I couldn't wait to just get on my own. But if you take that test and you're gonna see that you like consistency, is like what she's talking about. If you need that, you need that constant money coming in. Sometimes freedom can be two different ways. You know what I mean? That's a total way of freedom because she's got freedom to go back and forth, and she's got freedom to sleep at night. She doesn't have to worry about her bills being paid. Sometimes freedom of owning your own business and doing that, it's a lot, it seems like freedom at the time, but the busier you get, or you have problems coming up, then you're working 20, 30, 40 hours a week, and you're not getting paid for those hours. But if you don't do it, it's not gonna get done. You know what I mean? So I would definitely, the more you can learn about yourself and your own personality, and then you can kind of customize what would look like freedom to you, because it is gonna be different to everybody, And I've had a lot of like young men, oh, I wanna start out in aesthetics because, and they're working for somebody, you know what I mean? And it's a great location. These people are keeping them busy. They're not having to spend money on advertising, on rent, on, doing the inventory. It's all being done for you. And then, in their mind, they think it's gonna give them more freedom for their child, when in reality, compared to the situation they have right now, you know what I mean? So, and the cool thing with aesthetics, if you do find a place that you like to work, we can still have our little weird hours. If you're doing a great job, the person's gonna wanna keep, and they're a great boss, they're gonna wanna keep you, and then kind of work out, okay, well, this is the Susie schedule, and this is the Henny schedule, or whatever, so, yeah, I would definitely recommend everybody do that, just profiling, the Myers-Briggs, the love languages, because for me, like, when I had employees for the first time, they make commission, like, what do you mean Like, you'd rather have a pair of leggings that say get fluxed on the back. That's it. I've been trying to get you to sell things for this long, and all I had to do was give you leggings. So, but I wouldn't know, you know, when you're working with other people. And I think that that's awesome if you have a team, just to learn that everybody, you know, when I did have a team, how everybody fits, so we all know how to support each other. Not to be like, oh, I'm not good at this, so I'm not doing it. But to be like, okay, I'm not that great at this, but I know, you know, Annabelle is. Hey, Annabelle, like, how did you do this? Because then that helps us grow even in the ways that aren't we're necessarily strong at.
Well, short answer, since I've been working, I hate yeah, I honestly, I always knew that eventually I would be an entrepreneur of some sort. Didn't always know what that would look like, but I knew one day it would happen. And then I ended up here doing something that I love, and I'm happy I made the choice. But yeah, me and Josh like okay, so I've always been like a really big dreamer, and so I've always had things that I wanted to do, and those things require me to do them on my own and not somebody else, right? So with me wanting to be in film production and photography and things of that nature, that was something that I had to take on myself and be independent and search for those, you know, avenues and those outlets. So yeah, I've always had independence as far as building myself with my career, but I've also had positions that I've held for a long time, like going back with Aveda. I've been with, I don't even know how long I was with Aveda, a very long time. And so that gave me stability, obviously, with, you know, a paycheck and insurance and all those things that we need in life. But it also gave me creative outlets too. So it you know, allowed me to continue to be on film. It still allowed me to continue to do photo shoots and things of that nature. So I had the best of both worlds. But in 2019, when I parted ways with Aveda, I always said if I got myself out of education, what would I do? And I always wanted to go into the medical field because I wanted to get a license of some kind to be able to pair that with my aesthetics license, whether that took me to like medical spas, you know, cosmetic, whatever that might be. And so I started on a national level of certification, getting my CCMA, which is like the highest level of like medical assisting that you can get, because I was like, let me start there first. And that in itself took me to breast cancer for a while, and then now I'm also in labor and delivery. So that safety net that we were talking about down here, it still gives me my health benefits. It still gives me a paycheck to where I have that safety net security to know that I'm doing that 2, maybe 3 days a week, which the hours are grueling because I'm there 13 hours a day. That's what the shift is. But it also gives me the freedom then to have, you know, 4 other days where I can focus on my business and where we're going and what we're doing and planning and strategizing, and, you know, soon I will no longer really need to have, you know, that spot in the hospital anymore because we are growing and there's a lot of different changes going on right now that I can't really speak to yet. But that was the moment when I left education. I was like, okay, I have made so many other people successful in their own career. I've got someone sitting here, I've got another doll face back there, and I've got Alan over here to the left, and I know if I can give a building block, a foundation for others, I know I can do it for myself. So when I left in 2019 and with my partner, I was like, we've done this for so many others, let's just do it for ourselves, and so that's what we did.
So they've covered, I think, most of the major points here. I am a big fan of the having 2 different things going or several different things going. I tend to get bored really quickly. So right now I teach a couple days a week, and then I have my shop another couple, 2.5 days a week. And that works really well for me because teaching is a regular paycheck, and I have a schedule, and I go do my thing, and I love it. I love doing that. And then I get to switch gears and do actual aesthetic work in practice. and I have, again, I got the freedom largely because I am only on a schedule twice a week. But I still have that security, which is really, really nice. And I think that that's really, if you're planning on going solo, that's one of the best things you can do. If you jump right into it unless you're independently wealthy or you have other means of support, it can be really hard because it does take time to build a book and it takes time to get the things you need and build those relationships. But it's a lot easier to start, a little bit part-time and do something else. And then you can shift the balance of that as your practice grows. The other things can kind of take a back seat. But it's nice to know that you have, your finger in a couple different pots so that you're covered in case of instability. And I think it's something you have to be comfortable with instability to work on your own because you're gonna have it. Like, you're gonna have ebbs and flows. No matter how great you are, you're gonna lose clients. It's gonna take time and patience, and you're not gonna feel that secure. So you do have to be comfortable with that, I think, to do it. But it is very doable.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna do one more question. Does anybody else in the audience have a question that they'd like to ask? If not, I have one. Okay. All right, so then the last question is going to be, what does success really look like in this industry to you beyond social media? And how has your definition of success changed since you started out?
I think success looks different for everybody, and it's something that I teach that we talk about a lot. What success is for one of you will be very different from someone else. And your idea of what that is will change as you go through life. What's important right now may not be important in 10 years. And it's okay to go with that. For me, early on, it was the production work. And, it's like, okay, well, I'm working with celebrities and I'm doing movies and I'm going to premieres and I've got an IMDb page and my name's on the big screen and that's really cool. But then things changed. And now I love the fact that I can help other people. And I like that I get to do it in different ways, whether it's through education or whether it's through the relationships I have with my clients and helping them fix their skin. I'm not rich, I probably won't ever be, but that's okay. I get to be with people I like. I get to work with people that I think are cool. And I get to have time to myself. I can, same thing. I also do not start my day before 10 a.m.
I start mine till 11.
Yeah. So, I think about that in the mornings. Like, a slow morning is luxury, right? But I don't have to get up and bust out the door every day at 5 a.m. I can have some days in the week where I can have a slow morning and work my way up to peopling. And so, it's for me, that's what it is. I get to help people, and I can help people in meaningful ways. Whether it's encouraging people starting their own careers, or whether it's right now at my shop when I have slow days, like particularly Thursdays sometimes are a little slow. I do mutual aid appointments because everything is on fire and money is a thing. So I'll do very, very low cost appointments a couple times a week for people who might really need that relaxation, that escape, that self-care, and they can't afford a full service. So I have the means to do that, and I like that I can. For me, that's successful, that I can offer that. So I think, for me, that's what it is. And as long as we're continuing on this path, I'm gonna be pretty happy with it, I think.
What's the second part of that?
Just how it's changed from when you first started to now when you're doing.
Okay, so, Julie, you pretty much said it. Success is different for everybody. And throughout your journey in life, throughout my journey in life, and I've had many different directions as far as how my career has taken me, which is what the beauty is within our industry, is you just don't have to do one thing. You don't have to just be one thing. That's what I love about our industry, is that there's just so many things that you can be doing. And with that, you might love something for a period of time, and then you're introduced to something else, and it becomes your new love. And so then it shifts, and then you know, you might have been successful, you know, in that first part, and now you're finding success in something else, and it doesn't mean that you've ended, right, what you did prior to that. It's just it's taking a backseat because there's something new that's exciting and fun and adventurous and something that you just want to know more about. And so for me, my success is being able to have that that continuous evolution throughout my career, because I don't ever want to become stagnant and I don't want to become complacent. And as much as I like stability, knowing that I've got money coming through that I can keep my lights on, I also am that girl that lives in Vegas that's like, bet it all in black. You know, let's do it, see what happens, you know? And so I learned that about myself, where I have to find the balance. And, but I feel like that is also a way to gauge kind of where I'm at in my life and within my career. And, you know, success for me is like, okay, am I willing, can I take that risk because of everything else that maybe I've got going on, and is it worth it? Yeah, just constantly having that evolution. For me, like, I've been in education for so long, servicing others, and obviously we service our guests, and so that is success to me, knowing that I can still, you know, provide that for whether it's people that I'm working with, people working for me, if it's past graduates. I have people that blow me up all the time, you know, wanting advice, or, you know, hey, I got a question, or hey, you know, can I ask you this, or, you know, do you know anything about that? And I love that because it keeps me in the game with what's going on, because I get so stuck in the everyday of what I have to do. So I appreciate people, you know, coming to me and saying, hey, have you heard of this? Or, you know, what do you think about that? And to me, that I find success in that because people value me and they trust me enough to feel like they can talk to me about those things too. So sometimes it's not about the money, it's not about the value, it's just what can I offer? And for me, I feel like that's everything, because then I feel like I'm leaving something behind for somebody else to you know, carry that through.
This is no plug. Okay. When I started out, success for me was having 3 waxing salons. I wanted to have my products on storage skills, and that's what I was doing. I was working 7 days a week and 9 hours a day. And I had got to a point where my health started taking a hit, and I started having panic attacks. And I was so burnt out and crying all the time. I was making the most money I had ever seen in my life, but I was so just, I don't even know, it was a dark time. but that's what I thought I was wanting, and I had to take a step back and kind of reevaluate what I thought success was. And now I'm in a place in my life where I work 2 days a week. It pays all my bills, it allows me to go on trips, it allows me to network where I want to. I'm in a place where I can help other estheticians. Like, success definitely looks a lot calmer now. I don't have to have every client in the city. Like, you know, just having my few that trust me and come and do the things I ask them to do. Still, I get to make my products. I get to add licenses under my belt. I really get to just kind of flow. And to me, I feel now that like I'm the most successful man as I've been, and it's not even the most money I've made. But like now, like I'm a lot happier. I wake up, I'm excited about going to my shop. I'm excited about the people who are in my shop, about the things we get to do, about the people we get to see. I'm not stressed out every morning. And you know, I think being able to having the freedom, I feel like when you become an entrepreneur, a lot of us do because we want more freedom to do the things that like we're passionate about. And to me, that's what success is. And everybody's, you know, like I said, everybody's successful fit for everybody. Some people are gonna go get those 2-3 buildings and stuff like that, and shout out to them for work ethic. I do. Like the amount of people that I had to like work with to get that going, like the amount of like bad encounters I've had, good encounters, but bad encounters I've had trying to scale. I But, yeah, so, but now I feel like my life is a lot more happier. I'm trying to build my personal life. I'm about to get married. It just, you know. But yeah, that's where I'm at with my life now. Just, you know, doing more of what I want to do and less of what I have to do is kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, when I first started, I wanted to like create my own product line. I already done that before and helped other people with theirs, and I wanted like lasers. Because I had really good experiences doing laser treatments. Then I found frequency-specific microcurrent and like, oh, what is this? So it totally shifted where I wanted my energy to go. I had a location in like one of the biggest, wellness and beauty cities, Miami in the design district. I had a business here in Indiana, so I've got both of those. You know, I have 43 people who've lost over 100 pounds, thousands of people who've lost 50, 60 or more. In Miami, it's totally different. It's celebrities, you know what I mean? And it's crazy to see the difference in the marketing. Like the same marketing where people will be here, they'd be like, she's pretty already. In Miami, they'd be like, well, she's still ugly. Like, what do you mean? Like,
The library will be closing in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Computers will shut down. Please find minutes.
So, you know, I had a ton of employees before. All of those parts were very
At this
valuable
time.
into where I'm at
If you
now.
need assistance finding
And
materials,
I'll be
please
teaching
come to the
people.
information desk.
But definitely right now, it's more like peace over profits. You know what I mean? Because I would have some people, whether it be employees or whether it be like clients, that just be stressing me out. And I'd be like stressing the day before they come in. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to work on myself 5 times more just to stay looking good after working on you once. And that's not peaceful. You know what I mean? So, yeah, peace over profits definitely. It's still, I mean, but always follow like, what's your next thing? Because you never know. You're like, oh, I checked it off the list, you have it on the thing, and now you're on to something else.
Peace over profits, it's good. I can relate a lot to what Stacia was saying. When I first started out, I wanted to hit the 6-figure mark a year, get my 10K months, be booked, like nobody's business and doing what I love. So that was my first mark or milestone. I hit that, and going back to what Julie said about, you think you want success, but you also have to pay the price. My price looked like burnout, adrenal exhaustion, and fertility challenges. So it took me a while to get pregnant because I had worked myself to the bone. And when I finally was able to have my first child, my values started to shift. And it was, okay, I could get this money, or I could really relish in the fact that I have a child and I want to spend all my time. That might look like family to you, or whatever your version of child is to you. But I shifted my focus to what matters most. So always going back to my values. Now that I have 2 kiddos and I'm able to do what I want, a lot more, after building what I've built, a community that's resonant as well. I find that my sovereignty is my success. And that even looks like I get to choose who comes through my door. If I have someone who is not in alignment with my personality, with my policies, then I don't have to make space for them on my schedule. I can say, I think you'd be better off being this type of person. So that feels like success to me. And now, moving forward with my next chapter, so some of you know, I wrote a book, The Authentic Beauty Code. It just came out May 8th, and my vision of that was to put my thought leadership out there on toxic beauty culture and how it stops us from showing up. And how you cannot be a person in the Western society and not experience some form of toxicity when it comes to our image. And so my next chapter looks like really making an impact on helping people shift the way they see themselves. And I really want people to embrace self-love So that's where I'm headed next, and it feels really good to be able to evolve in that. So.
Success for me looks like impact, and I hope that never changes, even though I am still young. You know, we're gonna be 20 different people before we are who we are. And I don't know if it's like the instant gratification in me, but I just love to be that person that like people are inspired by, or if I can, you know, help you achieve confidence with the services I provide, or if I can help you be inspired to do certain things in your business. Like, I just love having that impact on women, on our community, on the beauty industry. So, and that's what I'm doing. So I feel super successful in that, in impact.
All right, so as we wrap up, I'm just gonna take a moment to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, especially to the panelists. Thank you guys for showing up fully today, for being honest, real, and raw with all of our attendees. Your vulnerability today created space for transformation, and I'm proud to stand beside each and every one of you. To our sponsors and volunteers, thank you for pouring into this event. I wouldn't have been able to do all of the things and provide all of the things I provided for you guys today without them, because this was obviously a free event. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all of the attendees in the room, thank you for spending your Sunday with me. I know you guys could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. You chose to grow, to connect, and to invest in yourself. And that means something. You are the future of this industry. So your presence today matters more than you even know. If you take anything away from today, please let it be this. You don't have to have it all figured out to be powerful, okay? You just have to be willing to keep going, to stay true to your values, and to ask for help when you need it. And that's something that even me 10 years in, I'm still learning to ask for help. But look, I asked for help today and was able to do this for you. So such a beautiful thing when you can finally do that. This journey isn't linear, but it is yours, and you're worthy of success that feels aligned, not just profitable, okay? So if today lit a fire in you to keep learning, I dropped some resources for you guys that I've been working very hard on. First of all, make sure you guys look in your goodie bags, because there's all sorts of great things in there. But I did create a free class on client consultations for you guys, so that is available. There should be a QR code in your bags. And then I also did a Creating the Facial Foundation class for you guys that is going to be 50% off until tomorrow evening for all of you that attended today. So if you guys have any questions about any of those, please feel free to ask me. The stuff and the information is in your goodie bags. And again, I just want to thank you. I love this industry deeply. I'm very, very passionate about what I do, about not just pouring into my clients, but also pouring into the future of aesthetics. By all of us coming together and working as a community, that's really how we raise the bar of the beauty industry in this city, and it needs to be raised, okay? So again, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I truly, truly appreciate you showing up, and that's it. That's all I have. If you guys want water or a snack on the way out, please grab it, because I don't want to take all of it home. Oh, and have a great Christmas Sunday. Get somebody else on your spot. Panelists. I need a picture with all of you, so do that right now before everyone leaves. I would like to take a picture.
I will literally pay you to.
That is all. Love you. I hope you guys learned some stuff. I definitely did. It's been a blast. Lots of treasures in the last free. So I'll see you again later. Bye, Lena.